I'm Eric Miskell with EMSNOW on the show floor here at IPC Apex 2024 in Anaheim. My pleasure today to be speaking with Sanjay Huprikar. Sanjay, of course, is the president for IPC of Europe and South Asia. Welcome. Thanks for taking time. Listen, I wanted to start by kind of talking about, you took over your current role as president back in 2021.
That is correct.
Yeah. Tell me about kind of the state of IPC in Europe at that point.
So the state of IPC was, we had historically had membership and certification and training, and there was some participation in standards development. But we felt as a team that there was much more to achieve on all those fronts. Our key pillars of standards, education, advocacy, and solutions, there was a general sense that we were just scratching the surface. And when I took over in 21, I think we decided to have some really concrete goals in terms of what we wanted to achieve for Europe over a 3 to 5 year horizon. One was we wanted to increase European OEM participation in standards development. Two, we had just started distributing our new workforce programs. Wanted to see if there was an opportunity to use the European theater as an opportunity to grow workforce programs, but also to get their feedback on those programs so we can strengthen and develop better programs. Certainly the PCB industry in Europe, just like in the US, has been dwindling. And I think we saw an opportunity to kind of revitalize the PCB industry. That was probably more aspirational than anything else, but it's something that we decided to challenge.
And did you have staff and offices at that time?
No, we had Alison James, who was based in Brussels, and we had Philippe Leonard, who was based all over Europe because he travels all the time. And so part of the game plan was, at some point in that 3 to 5 year window, starting in 21, it was time to create a legal entity, actually plant a flag into the ground and say, we now have a dedicated presence in Europe. And in 2022, that turned out to be Munich, is where we decided to plant the flag.
Good.
So those were the goals when we started. And I'm pleased to say that here we are 3 years later, and we're making some significant progress.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. I mean,
Sure.
the activities and the involvement by and the staff has grown too. Obviously.
Yeah. So let's start with the staff. We have grown from 2 full-time people to 6 full-time people. Doesn't sound like much, but when you think about what we've been able to do in the last 2 years with a bigger staff, the sky's the limit. There's still more things we can do. We've added talent in our standards organization. We've added talent in our solutions organization. We're looking to add talent in our marketing organization. So this is really exciting. Because of the additional staff, we can do more. So we have almost doubled the number of events that we participate in. And I want to make it abundantly clear to the viewers is when we do events, this has nothing to do about IPC. This is our role in serving the industry, making the industry more visible, making sure that people understand all the great things that are happening in electronics manufacturing. And so if we have a role to play to champion that, to cheerlead that, that's the way we view our role for events. We try to have fun with the events as well, with things like the hand soldering and the forums that we do, but it's really about supporting the industry. And then certainly as a data point, we talked about increasing participation in standards development. Just in 2023, we've grown standards participation in Europe by 30%. At the end of 22, we had 400 volunteers in Europe participating in various IPC standards committees, 525 at the end of 2023. So whatever we're doing to make the industry more visible, to support the industry, seems to be having a positive impact.
Yeah, absolutely. And you brought Winterfest over there as well.
Yeah. So that's it. Thanks you for reminding us of that. So historically, all of the IPC standards development meetings have always been in the United States. And the Europeans have been making a strong push to say, hey, one way to increase more of our involvement is bring the meetings over there. And so we were able to produce an event called WinterCom that we did in Barcelona in January. We had close to 300 standards committee members there working on standards. And the first thing they all said after the meeting was done, when are you coming back? So that was a very much a ball that we hit out of the park.
And there really was. Now, and speak about the different events, because you've really expanded that too into other countries, right?
Absolutely. So we try to participate in most of the key major European trade shows, whether it's Global Industry in France, It's Productronica, Electronica in Germany. It's the Southern Manufacturing Show that happens in Farnborough in the UK. We've now been part of those shows on a regular basis. And so people are now used to seeing us there. In fact, we missed one show one year because of some calendar issues, and we got letters saying, "Why aren't you here?" So that was great. At each of those shows, we do a regional hand soldering competition. Again, it provides a little bit of energy and fun, but it's really to emphasize the importance of standards in education. Hand soldering is an absolute requirement in the electronics industry. And there just aren't enough people out there that know how to do it. So this is an opportunity for us to grow that workforce as well. We do a lot of things called the IPC Days. We go to different countries we usually work with a licensed training partner there, and we create a one-day event called IPC Day where we bring in a couple of speakers, and there's usually a fixed topic. You know Banu Sood from NASA. We had him in Europe last year for a week, and he was talking about all the great work that NASA is doing and how reliability and the use of IPC standards are important to the work that they do. Those are the types of themes that we usually focus on. Usually it's quality, reliability, workforce are the three areas we focus on.
And you're also, I mean, I met you in Estonia when you were participating at the event up there.
Right.
And I think that's become an ongoing one as well.
Yeah, and I think a lot of credit to that goes to Arno Kolk from the Estonia Association and Dieter Weiss from Informa. That has become kind of a signature event for the industry at the end of the year. I think at the last meeting, they had close to 300 people in Northern Europe and Eastern Europe participate in that. Again, that's us being there just to support the industry, you know. And so between that event, some of the events that Dieter will be doing later this year, some of the events that IPC is doing later this year, you're beginning to see this groundswell of, hey, here's a legitimate global association supporting the industry.
Supporting it, exactly right.
Yeah.
And also we should say that it's the first European entered the IPC Hall of Fame here.
Yeah, that's a great insight as well. Well, first of all, for those of you who follow me on LinkedIn, I wrote a post saying it's a great day for Europeans. Yes. On Wednesday, I'm sorry, it was on Tuesday. Tuesday we had our annual awards. And Pierre-Jean Albria, who's the president of IPTEC, was the first European to be inducted in the IPC Hall of Fame. Dieter Weiss won a President's Award. We had a number of people win. Tibi Baranyi won the Dieter Bergman Fellowship Award. Tibi's from Flex. Just a great day for Europeans on the awards front.
No, it was
very gratifying and satisfying to see.
No, that's excellent. So what are the goals moving forward now?
The goals moving forward is this year has been the year for us to really focus on our advocacy. Allison James, who runs our government relations group based in Brussels, has done a phenomenal job the last 2 years of recruiting executives from the PCB and the EMS industry to really start being their voice, championing their needs in Brussels. We have some meetings. We have a report that we're working on right now with that group. That report will be released in May. We have a meeting that we're doing with the European Commission in June to talk about what we call our Silicon to Systems framework for the manufacturing ecosystem. So that's what we're doing on the advocacy side. On the event side, we will continue working with the industry, participating in our events. We've got Electronica coming up at the end of this year. I just got back from Global Industry in Paris, which was a great event for the industry. So we will do that. And then Fran Furcade, who's our standards manager, Peter Tranitz, who's our solutions director, they are engaged in design initiatives, molding, electronics molding, plastronics initiatives. We're doing work on power electronics. So we continue to work with the industry and identify gaps and look to fill the gaps where we can.
Yeah. No, it's been a great success story. I mean, I've been fortunate to participate and see some of that over there. And it's been fantastic because there's a real appetite in Europe to collaborate and to expand and grow and to learn.
Yeah, so the one thing I like to remind people when people ask me what is the most significant thing IPC does, we have the ability to bring all sorts of different people, value chain ecosystem into a room to solve problems, right? That is our that's our DNA. That is our biggest skill set. And I think the ability to do that on an advocacy front, the ability to do that we've displayed and demonstrated over the years on standards in education, I think we're doing that more on the event side, is bringing in all these different communities, giving them a cause, and then giving them a platform to collaborate, and then good things usually result from that.
Absolutely.
That's how I view our role as IPC. If I could summarize it in those 3 sentences, that's the way I would summarize our work.
Well, listen, I appreciate the time. I wish you nothing but continued success.
Thank you, Eric.
Over there.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Hope you enjoyed your show this week as well.
I did.
All right.
Very good. Thank you.